In this example, I have negative 5x squared plus 16x minus 3. So let's identify our ABC. A is negative 5, B is positive 16, and C is negative 3. So let's set up our x table. Where in the top is A times C and the bottom is B. So for the top, A times C, negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15, and my B value is positive 16. So let me write out my table, my organizing table. So factors of A times C, sum and difference. So for factors of A times C, some might think that the factors for 15 is 3 times 5, which will multiply into 15, but when we do the sum and difference, 3 plus 5, because it's positive, it's 8. It doesn't match with our B value. So let's think about another pair of factors, which is, in this case, 1 times 15 will multiply into 15. Then when we do the sum and difference between a positive 1 and a positive 15, it will equal to 16. It matches with our B value, so therefore we have 1 and 15. And now I'm going to put X on both of them. Alright, let's set up our work for factoring by grouping. I'm going to write my first term, so negative 5x squared plus 1x, and then plus 15x, and then minus 3. So let's take a look at the left side. So what's in common between the left side is the x, but in addition, my first term on the left side is negative, so I'm going to divide by negative x, meaning I'm going to factor out negative x. Negative 5x squared divided by negative x is positive 5x. Then positive 1x divided by negative x is negative 1 or minus 1. And then for the right side, the only thing that's in common between 15x and minus 3 is the 3. So I'm going to divide by positive 3. So I'm going to put plus 3 here and then open parenthesis. 15x divided by 3 is 5x. And then negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1 or minus 1. So I'm looking at my expression inside the parenthesis is exactly the same. So that means I'm going to group my negative x and my plus 3 together. So it's going to be negative x plus 3 in parenthesis, and then 5x minus 1. Now over here I have negative x plus 3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out the negative so that I can make the x positive. So when I factor out the negative, meaning I'm going to divide both terms by negative 1, so I'm going to have negative 1 outside of parenthesis. Negative x divided by negative 1 is positive x. Positive 3 divided by negative 1 is minus 3. So it's x minus 3, and then I'm going to bring down 5x minus 1. So this one, I have the negative 1 outside. And then let me box my answer. So my final answer is negative 1 times x minus 3 times 5x minus 1. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, now if someone had put 15x first instead of 1x, then if I do the work correctly, I should have the same answer. So let's set up our work. My first term, negative 5x squared, and I'm going to put plus 15x, plus 1x and then minus 3. Alright, factor by grouping. Let's take a look at the left side. So what's in common is the x, but also they're both divisible by 5. In addition, my first term is negative, so I'm going to put negative 5x. So when we factor, it's going to be negative 5x outside of parentheses. Negative 5x squared divided by negative 5x will be positive x. Positive 15x divided by negative 5x will be minus 3, close parentheses. Then let's take a look at the right side. For the moment, I see nothing in common between positive 1x and minus 3, except the only thing that's in common is positive 1. So I'm going to write plus 1 here. I'm going to divide 1x by 1, which is just x. I'm going to divide minus 3 or negative 3 by 1, which is minus 3. So again, for this part, if you see nothing in common, that means that if you do factor by grouping, divide the side by 1. If you look at the expression inside the parentheses, it is exactly the same. So I'm going to group the common factor that's outside the parentheses together. So negative 5x plus 1 in parentheses, and then x minus 3. Since in this parenthesis I have negative 5x plus 1, if I want to make this into a positive 5x, I want to factor out negative 1 on both terms here. So when I factor out negative 1, I'm going to have negative 1 outside. Negative 5x divided by negative 1 is positive 5x. Positive 1 divided by negative 1 is minus 1. Put that in parentheses. Bring down x minus 3. So I'm going to box my final answer. So let's compare the two answers in our box. They both have negative 1. We have 5x minus 1, and we have x minus 3. It's just in different order. So if I did not factor out the negative 1, then your answer would look different, and the confusion would be, how come we have different answer? So to simplify, I just factor out the negative 1 in the event if one of your factors, such as negative x plus 3 or negative 5x plus 1, if there's a negative on the x, then I'm just going to factor out the negative 1 to make it positive. And since I did that, now you can check the two answers, and it's the same, just different order.